What's up guys, I'm Mystic Mala. Today's video is going to be about how Luxu and Yozora and the Master of Masters are connected. And this is a part 2 theory to the video that I'm continuing on that I uploaded a couple days ago. Make sure you click back and check that out if you haven't. But make sure you subscribe, make sure you like, make sure you share with your friends, as well as hit the notifications bell so you don't miss any of my Mystic content. May your heart be your guiding key. Let's grow this Mystic family. But to kick this off, we know that the Master of Masters casted away his Keyblade long ago. We know that he gave his Keyblade to Luxu, and Luxu passed it down to Xehanort only to trigger the events of Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep to Kingdom Hearts 3, and only for the no-name Keyblade to land back inside of Luxu's hands. But let's back away from that a little bit. Me personally, I feel like Braig was a resident of Quadratum. And one thing I feel that way is because, remember, the fighting styles, like I was saying in my last video, the fighting styles are so much alike. So remember, they both use a crossbow, sharpshooters, that's what they are called in Kingdom Hearts 358. But they both use sharpshooters, and Yozora uses a sharpshooter and a Keyblade resembling sword that looks like a Keyblade kinda, but it more resembles a sword. But they were still trained under the swordsmanship due to Master of Masters being their master. Because remember, long ago, the Master of Masters casted away his Keyblade only to disappear to Quadratum. And we know that the Master of Masters was there for a while. And ironically, inside of the Kingdom Hearts secret movie of Kingdom Hearts 3, we know that the Master of Masters, like, they're basically in the same, like, okay, they're seen in the same scene. So I feel like that's meaning towards that Master of Masters and Yozora know each other personally. And what could he have been doing there? I highly doubt he was just chilling there in Shibuya. I highly doubt it. So one thing I do feel like is the Master of Masters probably took in Braig and Yozora as proteges to him, and they taught him how to fight. Remember, we don't know what the true Book of Prophecies says. We just know that the Book of Prophecies was ripped up to different lost pages and distributed along the foretellers and such. But we don't know what the true Book of Prophecies says. We don't know if it says, train Yozora, train Braig, send Braig into the real world so Luxu can take over his body and become an apprentice to Ansem the Wise. I'm going to step into that a little bit later. But going back to Yozora, we know that their fighting styles are a lot alike. For one, we know that Xemnas' fighting style even matches up with Yozora's fighting style as well. Even when he calls this giant dome over Sora and does multiple attacks from every angle, Xemnas does the same thing to Sora and Riku inside of the final battle of Kingdom Hearts 2. But fast forward a little bit over to Kingdom Hearts 3, we know that Yozora jumps in the air and makes a sigil in the sky. Many different characters we see with recusant sigils, like Vanitas, Xemnas, Braig, Xigbar, Xehanort, young Xehanort, Terranor. There's many different characters that jumps in the air and makes a sigil in the sky and shoots the X at your main character. If that means Aqua back in Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep in the secret episode, or final episode, or Sora fighting Yozora, or even Ventus fighting Vanitas. We see this move happen along the lines of each character. So that just proves the connection between all these characters. And even Braig as a character, when Luxu had the sharpshooters, when he was back a completed person, when he took over, Braig's body and used Braig's body as a vessel, we see many different melee attacks that Braig Luxu does with the sharpshooters that resemble a lot of a Keyblade. And even he does rush towards his enemy and does like an X formation with the sharpshooters, thus causing a sigil type of shape in front of you as a character. So it's like there's many different characters that have recusant sigils to it, but I'm going to just debunk that a little bit. And we know that the recusant sigil basically means darkness. It's used as like a sense of darkness, or maybe like a GPS signal that was used back inside of Kingdom Hearts Dream Drop Distance. But recusant sigils have been apparent through all of the Kingdom Hearts games. You see the recusant sigil more than once in a lot of the games. Kingdom Hearts 2, Sora's outfit has a recusant sigil on it. Kingdom Hearts Dream Drop Distance, it has a recusant sigil. In Kingdom Hearts 3, Sora doesn't have a recusant sigil anymore. Roxas has a sigil. Axel has a sigil. All of the organization has a sigil. You know, the Lushu has a sigil. You know, and then it's like there's many different things that you can take from, you know, that little bit of information. There's many different evidence to pull away from it, and there's many different aspects throughout the games where you can be like, okay, that proves it correct. But coming back to Braig now, Braig trained under the Master of Masters, and the Master of Masters sent Braig into the real realm, because remember, I'm sure the Master of Masters, knowing how crazy and how scientific and how like wisdomful the Master of Masters is, we know that the Master of Masters knows a secret on how to enter Quadratum and leave Quadratum at the same time. We know that he can travel between realms. So with that being said, we know that the Master of Masters sent Braig off into the real realm just for Lushu to be there at that exact same time, take Braig's body, you know, take his body as a vessel. Then he goes and becomes a guardsman as well as a apprentice at Radiant Garden to train under Ansem the Wise, so he can wait for Terranort, Xehanort to arrive. And he would basically be like a memory jogger for Terranort, just so he can remember his true self. But instead, he remembers himself as Ansem, thus causing the birth of Xigbar. You know, and you know, this really put a wreck inside of Lushu's plans, but it only delayed the inevitable. But coming back to Yozora's character, Yozora has many different like similarities between quite a few different people, and we're approaching the end of this video, but like I just wanted to bring certain evidence to light just to, you know, see where y'all like think about it. We need to leave this Kingdom Hearts reality, leave it where it is until we come back to that reality. We're talking about unreality here. So think about it. Yozora can be many different people. Yozora can be linked to Lushu. Yozora can be linked to the Master of Masters. Yozora can be linked to Riku even, because of many different plot points that we can go off of how Yozora told Sora, I'm going to save you. They are alike in that aspect as in their ambition, but there's many different things to grab, such as like Yozora's eye is blue and his other eye is red. Maybe that's Master of Masters taking over part of his body. Who knows? Maybe Master of Masters doesn't have a vessel yet, but maybe that, you know, he's trying to use Yozora as a vessel, and he has Master of Masters has Yozora partially taken over. He has him partially as a vessel. He doesn't have him totally taken over yet, but he has him partially as a vessel as of right now. We don't know what's going to happen in the future. Possibly his eyes will probably change to blue, or his eyes will possibly change to red. We don't know what's Yozora's primary eye color yet. You know, we don't know that until we see an origin story of Yozora. But another thing we have to consider is, remember how inside of the Kingdom Hearts secret boss battle in Kingdom Hearts 3, we're talking to Yozora. We know that Yozora says that this is not my true form.
Are you done? No, this isn't the real world, and I am here. But this isn't what I really look like.
So how does he truthfully look? Now this makes you think now. Is his true form the Master of Masters? No. Why I say that's not his true form is because, remember, like I said, the Master of Masters is trying to use Yozora's body as a vessel. So maybe Yozora's true form can possibly be Lushu's real face. Who knows? We never seen Lushu's real look. We never seen Lushu take off his, you know, his hood. So there's a great possibility that Lushu and Yozora look exactly alike. So we know that that's not his true form. What we see today, that's just a placeholder. That's, you know, I feel like it's a lot like the Shion rule. Like how Shion looks like whoever that you remember her as, or whatever your connection with the person or whatever your memories of the person is, that's who it looks like. That's why when Braig, Xigbar, looks at Shion, he sees Ventus. And that's why when Roxas looks at Shion, he's seen Shion for a while, or Kairi for a while, and then she starts looking like Sora. You know, so there's many different aspects to gain from this, and there's many different ways to go about it. Because Yozora is a character where he's another mysterious character, just like Ventus. This marks the end of my video. Make sure to like, make sure to comment, make sure to share with your friends, as well as hit the notifications bell so you don't miss any of my Mystic content. May your heart be your guiding key. Let's grow this Mystic family.